the Gator. Because whether you like them, woo, or you don't, they are the best thing, woo, in the football world today. Woo! Welcome back. Long off season, but we finally fucking made it. We finally fucking made it. All right.
We made it.
Yeah, we're back. 2020. It's over and done with. Fresh new fucking season, just like a new day. You know what I mean? Full of possibilities. Yeah, and I'm stoked to be back with you as always. I am Champ Brantley Jr. Mac Murphy, my co-host, as always, and our producer, the venerable Doug Dickey. How we doing, boys?
We're doing good. It's been a long off season, so excited to get back to business. It was actually technically the shortest off season ever because football season ended in December, but
yeah,
it's been a long time. It feels like it's been so fucking long.
Yeah, December of 2020 was like 7 years ago, though. So
yes,
it was actually the longest off season.
Actually, December 2020 to like 4th of July kind of zoomed by, in my opinion. But after 4th of July, like I was like, oh, football is almost here. So that anticipation made like the last 2 months have been the longest months of my life.
Yeah, but I feel like the last 2 weeks have been really fast. You know what I'm saying?
The season has snuck up. The season has snuck up on us. Like it was, once camp started, it did kind of pick up a little bit. The weeks have went by fast, but the month has been long. If that makes any sense at all.
The weeks have went by fast, and the month has been long.
Yes.
How have the days been then?
Or, some fast, some slow.
Some fast, some slow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, boys, how we feeling? I'm fucking excited for the season. Yeah, we got this new YouTube situation. It's weird. It's weird being in front of the lights, and yeah, it's gonna be different.
You just turn all your.
We're no longer anonymous.
Yeah, whatever.
Except for Doug. Doug's still semi-anonymous.
You'll never know who I am. There'll be a big reveal at the end of the season, so you just have to watch until then.
Only the real ones know.
Yeah, only the real ones know. Yeah, you got to decode the Unabomber crypt, and then you figure out what the latitude and longitude on the etch sketch is, and then it'll give you a accurate depiction if you just follow
I will be dropping clues on. I'll call them Doug drops on 4chan and 8chan.
Yeah, nice.
Throughout the season, big reveal at the end of the year.
Yeah. What's your security level? It's not quite Q level, I assume.
Oh, it's higher than Q.
it's
much higher than Q.
Well, yeah,
I know things about the season and about what's going to happen that will make your mind go crazy.
Yeah, I feel like last year we had a Gators details. We had a Gators Trump, so now we need a Gators Q. That could be you.
I'm a Gators Doug.
Gators Doug. All right. So yeah, let's just get it started. Why don't you take it away, Mac?
Yeah. So 2021. This season, I'm excited for my biggest excitement is we actually get to see Dan Mullen football of what he loves to do, his bread and butter. I think that's what I'm pumped for. We get to see a mobile quarterback. That's that was the heyday. When you think of Dan Mullen, you think of those Utah offenses, the '06 or '05. He was here at Florida till '08, and those like it was all. Granted, Leak wasn't a mobile quarterback, but we saw how much that offense from '06 to '07 got so much better. Even though our defense sucked ass in '07, and we cost us possibly a title
Yeah.
in '07. But beside the point, the offense was that's Dan Mullen football. Dak Prescott, Mississippi
Yep.
State, this is the identity of the team that we're going to have this year on offense. We're going to be able to run the ball. Everybody's been worried about the run game for the past couple of years. Um, if you have watched Dan Mullen, his offense is predicated off of the quarterback's threat to run. It's a numbers game, and when you can run with a quarterback, you win the numbers game because that's one more guy that can be out there blocking, or one more guy they have to worry
Yeah.
about running the ball. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see us do what Dan Mullen truly wants to do on the offensive side of the ball. And I think we're going to be able to see what he gets to do with his quarterback he picked, Emory Jones.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm just overall excited for that, and on the other side, the defense can't get worse. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, defense can't get worse. So I mean, that's someplace to come from at the very least. But yeah, it's gonna be sick. We got playmakers all over the field. Got to change of pace at the quarterback position. So I feel like the running game is going to be a lot better this year. We have Emery to take some of the weight off of the backs and do some misdirection stuff, and it honestly takes a lot of pressure off the O line too, which is probably one of the question areas coming into the season.
And I don't think we're gonna, by any stretch of the imagination, I think we're gonna pass as well as we did last year. That would, it's not gonna
That'd
happen.
be crazy.
But I think we're gonna see more instances where, or average, like per passing play. I think we're going to see more explosive passing plays because we're going to be running the ball so well. I think you're going to see more time, not more times than not, but whereas when we're passing the ball 50 times a game, maybe 3 or 4 times a receiver's wide ass open. I think this year we
Yeah.
might pass the ball 25 times a game, and it's still like 3 or 4 times of those 25 passes we'll have someone wide ass open because of the play action game. I think it's going to be there. I think that's going to open up, be big for our fast receivers like Copeland. Who's the other guy, the speedster?
Porter.
Henderson. I think Henderson's going to be, you know,
Henderson's fast as fuck.
yeah. I think those guys are going to have the opportunities to run, like just hey, just go run down the field and beat the corner and get wide ass open, and it's going to
Yeah.
happen. Like
Yeah. It's gonna be sick.
no safety help over the top, and they're just running a deep post, angling across the field, and Emery just throws it as hard as he can,
Yep.
and they just
Because
walk
yeah,
into the end zone.
and I'm expecting to see that little fucking that Tebow
Yeah, the little jab,
that little
the
guy.
jab
Yeah,
step. Oh
kills the
yeah,
safeties every time. It's great. Yeah, there's
I
gonna be a
don't know
lot
if
of that.
I.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I don't know if I buy into the whole idea that like Emory Jones isn't gonna be able to throw. I don't think he's
I think
obviously
that's
as good
bullshit.
as Trask, but
Yeah,
every time he's been on the field in circumstances like the throw's been right on the money. I remember like the one throw he missed when it was, geez, what year was that? So it's like this whole last year has me
yeah.
completely.
was it
What year
Auburn?
were we all in Jacksonville for
Oh
the Georgia
yeah.
game?
No,
The where they wore the white helmets,
that was
but
18,
but yeah,
2018.
so he had a throw in that game that was like right on the money, but it was called back because of pass interference.
Hmm.
Yep, they
And
tackled the
it's like
receiver. Or
every time he's been on the field, and I obviously like the more you throw, the more chances you have for
Yeah,
uh, things to go wrong. But I I don't know. I think I don't buy the whole he's not going to throw it as well. Obviously, he won't be like as efficient probably, but I think he's
I think
still like a really
that'd be
good dual
crazy.
threat.
That'd be a crazy ass to ask him to be Kyle Trask, but there's some people who are saying that he's gonna get fucking benched before the end of the season, which is crazy because I've been waiting for Emory Jones to have his moment since he came on campus.
Everybody
And
Yeah,
has.
there's a
when
weird.
fucking Trask himself came in, I think a big part of the fan group or um, the fandom at large was like, what the fuck? When don't we just put in our 4-star recruit
Yeah,
rather than this trash
I
ass kid who ended
I
up
was
being a Heisman finalist?
yeah I
I
was
was
one of
wrong,
those
wrong
people,
about Trask. Me too, big time.
but it's just a weird. There's a weird sector of fans, and a lot of them. They're not. I mean, I think it's pretty close to 50-50, but I think in that group the older fans are much more skeptical of Emory Jones and in favor of Anthony Richardson, and I don't know why,
Yeah,
because
what is
I
that even
remember
coming
I I think, and don't get me wrong, I've said this all along, and Mac and Doug can, or I'm Mac, I'm
from? No, I'm Champ.
Doug and Champ can attest to this. I have said all along, I think Anthony Richardson has a higher ceiling. I think he's going to be a better quarterback by the time it's all said and done. I think he has potential to be one of the great ones, but I don't think like Emory Jones is the confidence level of people thinking, oh, he's going to just absolutely shit the bed. And Anthony, like, that's just a weird mentality to have because one, Dan Mullen, it took him until the Missouri game with Franks his first year to even consider benching him, and
Yeah,
and Trask probably would have started against South Carolina the next week had he not gotten hurt in practice. But so that means if Anthony Richardson's our quarterback, a lot of people think like, oh, AR is going to be the guy by Bama. I'm going to tell you right now that's not going to happen
that's a
because
banana
Anthony Richardson
comment.
and unless Emory Jones gets hurt in USF against USF and FAU, he will be the starting quarterback against Bama unless he
Alabama.
throws like 6 picks and no touchdowns in the first 2 games, which that's not going to happen
It
with
had
the
to be a
talent disparity.
disaster.
So I for the fans to be rooting for AR to be the quarterback, that means we're probably sitting at 6-3 coming out of Jacksonville or around about that record towards that time of the season.
Yeah,
And I think or 6-3 or maybe 5-4. Like that's the only way you're going to see Anthony Richardson, in my
and
opinion.
fucking dude, fucking Emery's gonna
Yeah, what
ball.
is what he I remember in the Auburn game when he came in and I was like, "Oh fuck. We're
Right,
done." Like, he won't be
premature,
able to move the ball. And that dude went down there and was like,
big
threw the
time.
ball 5 times, completed like it was 4 or 5 and fit 2 of those passes in tight
That was in
windows.
19. That was in 19 too.
Yes, and that was a 19. And if he can play like that 70% of the time, we'll win. We'll be pretty fucking good this year. If he can
Yeah,
play
and
like
look,
how he did that drive,
I
seventy
think
percent.
from a playmaker's perspective, like like of course, you can't replace Kyle Pitts, you can't replace Kadarius Tony, but
And
we
you
got
know
fucking
what
Jacob Copeland. Like, I mean,
they said
he's a stud.
they said the same shit after um when
Van
Swain
Jefferson,
left, Van Jefferson, all those guys. They're like, oh, they can't replace all that.
niggers.
And you know what? We fucking leveled up. That's what we did.
Yep,
And I'm not gonna come right here and say our receiving core is gonna be better than what it was last year because Kyle Pitts was arguably the best player in
generational talent.
in college football last year. You could make the argument of talent wise,
Yeah,
but I to think we're just gonna like forget how to catch the fucking football and run routes.
yeah,
You're a dumbass. So
I
yeah.
feel like
I
everybody's going off of the game against Oklahoma,
Oh
where
yeah.
like
Well,
and
everything sort of fell apart.
that was a scrimmage. I don't even know
yeah
why Trask was playing in that game. Honestly,
yeah
um, it was just. I mean, that was dress rehearsal for.
and that's what's so
There
crazy
was no stakes. I mean, that's what
is
the. Yeah, go ahead.
if we beat and I know we had agreed not to talk about this, but if we beat LSU last year
Oh,
and
we did.
play the game we did against Bama, the same score 51-46, that game happens, and then we are So let's say we still lose the bowl game and we finish 9-3 with we just don't get thumped against Oklahoma.
Yeah, well,
Um,
it didn't matter.
yeah, it's a totally different vibe. Like that's so foolish of like uh one game, essentially 1.5 games dictates you from saying, "Hey, Florida, they could be on the doorstep of the college football playoff this year," to saying, "Oh, they might lose, they might go 8-4." Like I'm not going to be surprised if they go 8-4, and that's to me. Like you got to have like I'm not going to sit here and say that I think we're going to be in the college football playoff right
All right,
yet.
well,
Um,
not at this point in the podcast.
yeah, not yet.
Right.
But I just think it's just crazy to let a game that one didn't matter,
Yeah.
and two a game that was clearly fluky as all fluky games I've ever seen
Well,
totally
wait,
switch
which
to
are we talking about the bad times?
no we only talk about
before the empire,
um
before the dark times.
The before
but
times.
but I like to let those two games be the reason that you think the our program is like
Yeah.
on the edge, on the brink of collapsing is, um, and and I don't get the LSU hype either. We'll get on that when we play LSU because they'll probably have 2 losses by the time we go to Death Valley.
Right.
But it's just a weird like the vibe of the national vibe of this team this year is very weird.
I don't
They
think a lot
talk
of people are. I don't think a lot of people are talking about Florida. Honestly,
no,
from
because
like
they
a
think our
national.
defense is going to suck ass, and
Because they
I'm
might.
not. It could, but it will not be as I will confidently say it won't be as bad as last year. Like I'll confidently say that.
Yeah, and our defense is apparently was about as good as fucking Alabama's was against us.
Yeah.
You know, it
hmm
was a fucking score or two away. So
Well, honestly,
If Dean
it
didn't
was
get
probably
like
it was probably a
targeted,
really great hit from the receiver away from being
yeah,
on par with us.
yeah, agreed.
God, how is that not targeting? Like the refs are just like, oh, like just because he's an offensive player, he's still tackling the dude. Like
Yeah,
the roles switch. Like it goes if I'm running the ball, even though I'm a defensive player, I'm now a ball carrier, and you can't just, essentially on their logic, he could have drop kicked him. He could have jumped up and fucking cleated him to the helmet. Oh, fair game.
I would have been. I mean, it would have been kind
it
of
would have been
sick.
pretty cool,
It would
but
have
I
been
don't think
cool.
I would have been mad, but I don't think I would have been that bad.
yeah,
But
it
that
would have
was
been like a
can
funny
we
story.
agree that hit was targeting? Can we like that was it was clearly targeting.
It was
You're like trying
honestly
to
it
hash.
went against us, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's why it's targeting.
Fuck them. Yeah, it's targeting.
Um, but yeah,
They
all
got all
right.
the fucking calls.
That's
Fuck Alabama.
that's that's kind of that's kind of where I think we are, guys. I think we're under
I'd
the
say
radar. I think we're under the radar. I think we're I kind of like that. I like being under the radar. I like
yeah,
the people doubting Emory Jones because then I think that just makes the victory even sweeter.
yeah.
Um,
What
It seemed
gives
like
him a
last
chip?
year.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It,
it does
it,
give him a chip, and it seemed like last year there was high expectations about Florida coming into the season. You had Trask coming into his senior year and whatnot, but
it was
this year it doesn't seem like we have those kind of things that are burdening us at the end of the beginning of the season.
it was high expectations for the East. I think it was like it's this year or never for Dan Mullen in the East because he has a more senior team than Georgia. This is the year to beat Georgia if there's ever been one under Dan Mullen.
Yeah,
And this year it's kind of the opposite. Georgia, everyone's high on Georgia. A lot of people think Georgia's going to beat Clemson. I think Clemson's going to just curb stomp Georgia. To be brutally honest with you,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think that game's going to be close.
It's gonna be a
Um,
CPGB.
yes, yep. We'll tell you that one later. We won't.
Google
We
it.
won't. We won't. Yeah, you can Google that.
Don't.
Um, no, do. Um, but yes, I think. I think Georgia. I don't. I mean, I'm clearly they're more. They have more team talent than Florida, but they are.
Yeah, they've never been well
For
coached.
Kirby
no.
Smart is their coach. That's their
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah. They.
There's I I can remember in 2018, we got tickets, we scalped them, we were sitting with Georgia fans, and I have never heard so many people absolutely despise their coach that they all think is also somehow their greatest coach they've
Yeah,
ever
God,
had.
yeah.
This is the weirdest fan base
yeah.
in some ways, but they were all like, "This Kirby's so terrible. He's awful.
They
He
love
fucking
that, dude.
sucks."
They love
Oh,
that in between.
Like
They
they
love
like being
Mark
angry.
Richt. Oh yeah, they love the like.
well,
Oh, we're good, but we're not like real. You know,
they
they
like
love that.
they like being like that so they can like. I think it's a coping mechanism. So when they lose, they're
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, I told you so." Guy.
They
Like
can just be
I
like,
fucking, look. I told you he's not that good of a coach. And then when they win, they're
right.
like, "I told you he figured it out. He finally figured it
It's
out."
just
He's
greatness. That's just greatness.
that's
That's all
just the
that is. Yeah.
UGA way, baby. You know, and
I mean, what the fuck? Like running it right down the fucking middle. Like that's not that hard to coach against. You just
it's so
play get up
funny every year.
football.
Like they're like, "Oh, the offense is going to be so innovative this year. They're going to do," and then they fucking line up double tights and just hand it the fuck off.
Yeah.
Like the only difference this year was they were handing it off out of the shotgun. You know,
Oh yeah.
like
What what was
"Who
their
is the
quarterback's name?
Stetson
Stetson
Bennett?"
Bennett.
Oh
Oh
my god,
man,
I'm gonna miss him.
That told me everything I needed to know about Kirby Smart as a
Of
coach.
course. No, it was as obvious as Malik Davis's sleeves were. So you see the sleeves, and you
Malik
know
Zaire.
exactly
Malik Zaire. Davis
zero.
is the
Malik Davis is good. No, no,
he's the running back.
yeah, no slandering on
Disavow.
Malik Davis.
Disavow.
Disavow. Yeah, no, but Malik Zaire, the sleeves. I should get a Malik Zaire jersey, or maybe just the sleeves. That'd be a fun frame. Just Malik Zaire's sleeves. Anyway, that joke didn't land. Where? Oh,
Where are we? Are we looking for the
let's
guide?
move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Where are we
supposed to
going?
be.
We're
Yeah,
going.
you're in the driver's seat.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going. That was kind of our 2021 preview and off-season recap, all bundled into one right there. I think.
Yeah, right.
So now we're gonna slide right into kind of some a segment, a preseason segment of our under each of us our under the radar player for the season, who we think
Yeah, like a guy to watch.
is kind of not a Kyrie Elam or a Brenton Cox or Emory Jones or
Right.
one of these big name like Jacob Copeland. Everybody's expecting Jacob Copeland to finally
Yeah,
have
he's gonna
his
ball.
breakout season. So we're gonna say who is our under the radar guy that we think is gonna put together a solid season, a respectable season, and be a valuable player to the team. So
Yeah.
I'll let Champ can go first with his pick on, and we're each going to do an offensive and a defensive player.
Yeah. Okay. So for offense, I think one of these guys that's kind of flying under the radar in the backfield for offense is Lorenzo Lingard. I don't think that really anybody's talking about him, but because you either have like you have Pierce and you have Davis. Those are the old guys. Naquan Wright had a huge year last year, and Lingard didn't really get to play all that much, but he's had a full spring now. He's been on campus longer than Bowman, who we'll talk about later, who's probably has the highest ceiling out of everybody in that backfield. But Lingard is, I think he could have an absolutely amazing year, and it's going to be fun to see him get the ball in his hands,
Yeah, I
especially
think
with like those read options and stuff that Mullen's going to bring to the table.
I think Lingard has been like he's talked about, but he's not talked about alone. It's always him, like the five stars, the him and
Yeah,
Bowman. They're talked together. It's like, oh, they got this talented 5-star running back duo. But I think him alone. I think I agree. Him alone is his name alone should be enough to warrant
yeah.
some respect.
Well, he's been
Um,
on campus longer than Bowman has,
yeah,
so I mean
he
he's been
played
in
last
in
year.
the
Bowman didn't
offense
play
for the
last
whole
year.
year. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
I
Bowman
think
got dinged up over the spring too. He was.
yeah.
He,
So I think Bowman, like if you're gonna like go in the future and look at their careers, I think Bowman probably has a better career as a Gator, but Lingard could have an absolutely incredible year this year, and just like he could be the main back this year for sure. He could be
I wouldn't be
the
surprised. Yeah,
playmaker.
I think it's. I think we'll talk about that probably more later on in the season. So I don't want to get too
Yeah.
far on
Well,
that.
I mean the backfield's going to be stacked this year. I mean, we
Look,
have five guys.
I think we're gonna see a lot of multiple like two two back sets. I think
Yep.
we're gonna see that.
And then you
It-
have the read option, or you can just take the fucking top off.
and I think you're gonna see a lot of. I think in the two back sets, you're gonna see more of that's gonna suit well for Lingard and Davis because
Yep.
um
The receiving.
I think Naquan Wright is a great receiver out of the backfield, but
Wheel
I
route.
think Davis and Lingard are probably better a more threat actually lining up at the slot and running a route. So I think you're going to see a lot of like sets of um, your two receivers, Davis or Lingard in the slot, Pierce or Wright as the running back in the backfield and a tight end, and I think you're going to see some motion that player into the double two running back set, or you're going to
Yeah.
see them starting that motion one of them out into the slot. I think that's um, a style that I kind of want to see. I want to see that. I think it creates mismatches because those guys can run routes pretty well. And if you come out with two running backs and a tight end, so you're essentially in a, you've got was that nine players in the box and two receivers out wide. So of course the defense is going to have to compensate for that. If they don't put in the extra linebacker or extra lineman, they only have 6-7 guys in the box. You just fucking run the ball down their throat
Yep.
with with the numbers. Or if they come out and then when they come out in a 8 guys, they bring 8 guys to the box. Then you just bump one of those guys out, and they're a linebacker's trying to cover Malik Davis, and
Yeah.
they're fucked. So
And all this is only as good as the quarterback, obviously. But
yeah,
I feel like since he's had so much time in I mean, we talked about this earlier, and we will continue to talk about Emory Jones for the remainder of the season. But he's been in this. He's been in the system. He knows what to do. He's been in a lot of situations, and he's got good experience coming into. I mean, we were just talking about 2019 for him as something he could hang his hat on, and then last year he had a lot of playing time. He was good. But
all right.
who's your under the radar offensive guy?
So my under the radar offensive guy, I think you hear a lot about um, Jacob Copeland, big name, going to have the big year. Then you hear Xavier Henderson, probably I think the most athletic receiver, or are one of the most athletic receivers we have as far as size, speed, putting everything together. And you hear
Yep.
about Justin Shorter. Those are the three
Yep.
big names that you're hearing at receiver. And I think what Emory Jones is going to find, and is he a red shirt? Was he a sophomore or red shirt sophomore? I can't remember. But I know he's been here for at least. I know he played last year, and he probably got more reps with Emory Jones than some of the other receivers have. And a lot of these receivers have gotten reps with Emory Jones, but I think Trent Whittemore, that's gonna be my under the radar player. I think he's gonna come out, be that Mr. Dependable guy for Emory Jones, like a Riley Cooper esque. And I'm not saying that because they're both white, but I think they're just gonna have that
More like
similar role of
maybe a Chris Doring kind of guy.
yeah, they're
White.
sure
They're white.
handed, sure they're white and they're sure handed guys. They
Yeah.
he's not gonna, and I think a good route runner. I don't think you're gonna see
Yeah.
Trent Whittemore,
He's
streak.
really
And
all the
he is
white
athletic.
stereotypes. Yeah.
He is athletic, and he is
Yes.
very like. There's a video of him, between the legs dunking the ball, and he's
Yeah,
fast. But
that's true.
he's not Jacob Copeland fast. He's not Xavier Henderson fast. But
Yeah.
so I don't think you're going to see him streaking down the field. But I think in that
Over
5
the
to
middle.
15 yard window, yeah, over the middle, like hanging out right behind the linebackers, between the linebackers and safeties in that zone area, I think
Snatch it.
you're going to see a lot of kind of like how that was how Freddie Swain was for Kyle Trask the last year. It was like his one of his go-to um,
Just great
his
route
go-to
running.
guys of
He
just
always found it right underneath the zone, and
yep.
he was just very good at
Yep.
running
So
routes right in
I
between
wouldn't be
guys.
surprised to see Whittemore have like a multiple, like have a game or two where he leads the team in receptions,
Yeah,
and puts together a few touchdowns on the year. And I think he's going to be a valuable player. I don't think he's going to lead the team in receiving, but I think he's going to be surprisingly probably like the third leading receiver on the team. I think I wouldn't be surprised. So that's
yeah,
my
and
offensive guy.
he's one of those guys you can go to when you're game planning against Shorter or um, Copeland specifically. So you got
Hmm.
we got weapons all over the field, which is pretty fun. And yeah, they had a dimension at quarterback is again that's gonna be sick this whole season. Um, yeah. As far as defense though, one guy who's new on campus, not new to
Are
the
we going to snake
program
it?
though. Snake
Or
it?
you go? Yeah.
I don't know. We can snake it. Do you have a guy, Doug? Doug?
On defense,
Yeah.
Or
Or
offense? Or
offense. Either anybody you want to talk about
I
under the
guess
radar.
on offense, which one is is it Zipperer or just Zipper?
oh yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
it's
I don't know.
Zipperer. I think it's
We'll just
I
call
think
him
it's
Zipperer
Zip.
Zipperer.
We're gonna call him
or
Zip on
Zip.
this
Call him Zip.
podcast.
Either
Yep.
him
Old Zip.
or
I like
Gamble.
that.
I think they
I do.
will.
I like
They're
that
not. I
pick.
guess they're not really. I
Yeah.
guess they're not really under the radar because like they're gonna. I mean, like I've at least from what I've seen, like some people talking about how I forget the tight end coach's name, but um,
Brewster.
he's been saying like they'll be on everybody's watch list across the nation, like they could be the best in the nation, household names kind of things. So I think those
Brewster's a magic guy.
Hype man.
So
He's
yeah,
a hype
he
man.
says that shit. But who
maybe not
knows?
quite under the radar, but I think that they will be. I'm not. Obviously,
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts is like a generational athlete,
Well,
but
dude, he also coached Antonio Gates, who was a fucking basketball player, and now he's one of the best tight ends ever to play football.
Um, I think that's a good pick. I think they're overshadowed by Kyle Pitts' greatness from last year. I think
Yeah.
that's what I would say. But I think they're
I
under the
mean,
radar.
in the Georgia, Kyle Pitts got his brain scrambled in the Georgia game, and I mean, I know that game was different for a lot of other reasons, but I know that Gamble had a touchdown. I think Zip
Yeah.
had a touchdown in that game too. So it wasn't
Either I
like
don't know
he
if he had a
was
touchdown or he had a
sorely
long. I know he had
missed
a couple long
or like a good
catches.
play.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
they could have like a
yeah, they
breakout
definitely
season.
stepped up. They definitely stepped up in his absence that game. That's for sure. Um,
So
defense.
for
Who?
defense, yeah, I'll go. A guy I have is new on campus, not new to the program though. Dawan Black, is that how you say it? Dawan? I don't know.
D1 or
Dawan Black,
yeah, he's D1,
D1.
like a D1
Yeah.
player. Yeah.
Anyway, he's getting reps at star. Apparently, that's what they've been saying throughout camp. And we haven't had a good star since Chauncey left, so it would be nice to have a playmaker in there that could kind of play the in between. And he's a real like long rangy guy, and he can play linebacker, but he's a little bit small for it. And I kind of like how Bernie was. Is Bernie still on the team?
Yeah, Bernie's still on the team. It's like his 8th year. No,
Yeah.
he is a fourth
Well,
year
Bernie
senior, I
He's
could.
believe.
like TJ Yeldon at Alabama.
Yeah, Yeldon. He was there for a decade. But
Or
I feel like we've been
fucking
waiting for
tight
Bernie
end
to
from
have a breakout year.
O'Leary at Florida State. He was there for like a decade.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you guys were talking about like sure-handed receivers, I kept thinking about him because like he would always catch the ball, but because he didn't wear
It
gloves,
dropped.
he fumbled all the damn time. Dude, he fuck Florida
So
State,
funny,
man.
dude. Every time you just roll it down the field, doesn't matter. Dude, in the
It looks like
pros
he's playing
too, he did
rugby. He's like trying to like
the
toss
bowling.
it.
Yeah, he
Um,
sucked. It happened so many. It happened more times than like after the first time you just say just wear gloves. It's a ball security is an issue, just wear gloves. You're easily 20% better.
We should do a segment on our our pick show of players like they're still playing college football. Like we should do
Yeah.
a list of that of
Yeah,
like
maybe we'll
what
do like a like you know how at the Oscars they always have they roll the clip of all the people who died. It'll just be like that, but like
yeah.
remember they still play.
in
It's like
memoriam.
Landon
Yeah.
Dickerson from Bama. Like he was on his like eighth
Oh
year
my
when
god.
he transferred to Bama last year and played.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
like
Remember when he played
those
against Pat White?
yeah, yeah. Or fucking what's his name at Sam Ellinger was at Texas for 20 years. It
Yeah.
seemed
And
like
with the
it
COVID,
went Vince Young, Colt McCoy, Sam Ellinger. Like that was
yeah.
the progress of their quarterbacks.
And they could have all stayed a year too. There's certain players we won't talk about on this podcast, but that have left the program that we're happy didn't take that extra year of eligibility. But I feel like that's going to be a lingering thing from COVID. Is just that those guys who have been there forever, they're even fucking longer. You know, they somehow gained one extra goddamn year of eligibility. There's a couple of guys we missed last year. Not
Well,
not naming names in the secondary. But
was it it, I could keep going on about players that I feel like are still
Tom
in it.
Hanks. I think you're talking about Tom Hanks' favorite beach ball or volleyball.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, him and
Oh,
13.
Yeah, plays for the Steelers now.
Yeah,
13 reasons why I could kill. I
not for
won't say
long,
that.
dude.
Probably
He-
shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not
so
gonna make the team though.
it's
I'm gonna
okay to not
say
be
that-
okay.
I'm gonna say that my under the radar, probably again not really under the radar, just because I think that he has a chance to be kind of a leader in some ways, is Diabate.
Diabate.
I like
He-
him. I don't
he's-
know. I just like he put
He's a
forth
freak.
a lot of effort.
He's a freak.
Even when he was, even when they were getting their asses handed to him,
Yep.
and you have to respect that. I think that it's like I said, maybe not on their radar, but I think that if the defense is better, it'll be because of someone like his leadership stepping up
Yep, I agree.
and making the team better on that side of the ball.
Yeah. So my under the radar defensive player. It's kind of hard. I think it's going to be. I think Tyron Hopper is um, poised to have a
Which
breakout
linebacker is he?
season. Well, so the way our linebackers work there, we have essentially we don't run a 4-3 or 3-4 anymore. Like, and it's kind of the 3-4 is kind of gone. The way the game is gone, like you can say on paper you run a 3-4, but nobody's going out there with
Yeah.
only four defensive backs. You'll just get toasted in the passing game nowadays,
Mhm.
in the way the game is played. So everybody runs
we
a
have star.
variation of has a nickel. Like everyone generally starts with a nickel corner or star or whatever you want to call that. I think Florida State calls it like they have some weird ass name for it.
We have yeah.
Very typical of Florida State.
we have the buck.
But
We have the buck.
yeah, no. So that's a outside linebacker slash D end, like a rush end. I would like to describe it to people. I call it a rush end, like a
You think
stand
of
up guy,
Bernard.
like a stand up end. Yeah,
Think of
yeah,
Bernard
or
and
I
Polite.
like Dante Fowler, like a Dante Fowler. He was a buck. That's what he does. A edge guy, whatever you want to call him. They call him edge, buck, rush end, weak side defensive end, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yep.
We have that, which is essentially an outside linebacker, and then we have a nose tackle, and then
That's
we have
Cox this year,
a
right?
defensive tackle. Huh? What?
Who's our buck this year? Is it Cox?
Cox plays buck, yeah. And then so we have a buck, a defensive tackle, a nose tackle that obviously lines up on the nose or very within between the guards 9 times out of 10. Um, and then we have a strong side defensive end, and that's what Zachary Carter is, a strong side defensive end, which is like a hand in the dirt defensive end is the best way
Mm-hmm.
to describe it. And then we have two inside linebackers because our outside linebacker is Cox or Moon or Bogle. So our two inside linebacker starters are Ventrell Miller and probably Diabate. I think by the time the like it's Tyron Hopper is just like you can't keep that off the field. Like I like he is a our linebacker room is full of athletic freaks and um like Hopper, he's got to play. Like in the few times he played last year, I think he played pretty well. Um, and the speed of the game, the way it's changed, like you don't see a David Reese type guy. You don't like those guys are great, but on third and like six, you don't want a David Reese out there. And I think a Ventrell Miller, I think he's a liability in the passing game. So I
Well, it
think you're
depends
going to
which David
see.
Reese you're talking about too. 33 or
Well,
54.
no, that's he's not 54. He's like number like he's got a
Or
single
wait,
digit number. The David Reese we have. You're thinking of we had
who was
several
33?
people. 33 is David Reese, middle linebacker. He was great, but he
Yeah, yeah,
he couldn't cover like he was a great old school like in 19
yeah.
or in 2002, he would have been an all-American linebacker and would have been a first round draft pick.
Hmm.
But, in today's
Yeah,
game, he can't make it. Or can't isn't a 4 down linebacker in today's or 3 down linebacker.
yeah.
So I think Hopper is going to get that playing time on third downs that will eventually turn into him. And I don't want to say injuries will happen, but I think if an injury does happen, like a lot of people have questions in the linebacker room, but if Diabate or Miller went down, I'm confident in that depth that we have back there of the talent in that room. So I think my standout, my breakout, or under the radar rather defensive
Whatever.
player is Hopper. Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to roll into impact freshman or impact newcomer that we have.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the fucking guy, like the biggest recruit we've had at Florida since I don't even know, like maybe Tim Tebow, honestly. Demarcus Bowman is on campus, been taking reps, been seeing him on Twitter. Jesus, the fucking kid is fast. I've been I mean, ever since he came on Florida's radar for recruiting, I try to look at everybody's tape in high school, and this kid, I mean, he just jumped off the tape immediately, like different than I've ever seen. Kind of like football speed, like can run away from people, kind of like Deion Sanders. You never saw anybody gain on Deion. He just ran away from people. So that kind of speed is what I see from a guy like Bowman, and yeah, he's undeniable with the ball in his hands. It's going to be electric. I can't wait to see how he develops over his career at Florida. It's going to be great,
I'm excited for him.
especially
Um,
if he can learn how to. I think he caught the ball like 4 times in high school or something like that, but didn't need it. Just like hand the ball to that kid and he's
um,
gonna ball.
I feel like the cool
I
thing about
remember.
the addition of him to the running backs that we already have is that, like when you watch like the Bucks last year, they would have like, Ronald Jones run a little bit, Leonard Fournette run a little bit, you mixing guys in. Well, they have like, because Pierce is still here,
Yeah,
right?
grinder,
And then,
Yep,
Naquan Wright,
fast,
Davis, and
multifaceted. Yeah,
and
Lingard.
then so you've got all those guys that they can, if the run game gets going, which it probably should,
yeah.
uh, then late in the game, like when a team is gassed, like you just send, oh, you know what? How about Demarcus Bowman goes in, or if he's been playing a bunch, how about Pierce goes in, and then they,
Pierce had that role for a couple of years where he would just come in and close the game out. Like when
yeah,
it was P Ryan and Davis, and then they would send in Pierce, and
Hmm.
Pierce would just give him the steady dose and just close the game out.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, you could very well see Bowman take on something like that, but it would be a shame not to see him come in first
more
quarter,
often.
and just just get him the fucking ball in space and see what he can do, because that's what Mullen does so well. And he's always talking about give the ball to your playmaker in space. That's the fucking guy you want to get the ball to in space. He's getting special things happen. So
I
Demarcus Bowman.
remember I remember getting or sending like there was a picture of Dan Mullen at a like a wherever Demarcus Bowman's dad worked. It may not even been Demarcus Bowman's dad, but there was someone took a picture. It was I can't remember if it was like a car
Of
dealership
a guy.
or
Yeah.
something or of a guy talking to Dan Mullen. You could clearly tell it was
who
Dan Mullen, and
who
they're
might
like
have
that's
been related to Bowman.
yeah, they're like that. Oh, that's Bowman's dad. Mullen is meeting with or talking to Bowman's dad, and this is like 2 days before signing day. And there's rumor.
Yeah.
They're like they're still pushing for Bowman to ink with them. And there's like the message. I was on the message board
The
like
message
I'm
boards.
trying to find. I'm looking for cryptic stuff, and they're like
You're looking for Doug
no
drop.
no
Yeah.
nobody's denying it. Like nobody, like everyone's hush hush about it. So I'm like, oh fuck, like this is going down. We're about to like, and Clemson has never had a kid.
Never.
They've had like 2 decommitments in like 6 years under Sweeney. So
That stunk.
I was like, oh my god. I was like, is Dan Mullen gonna like do the impossible and get the biggest recruit like ever
Ever.
in his
Literally ever.
that he's gotten? And I was like, I was like, it could fucking happen. And then it didn't happen, obviously. And
Yeah.
then I remember that hearing
Yeah.
a
You
lot
were
of
telling me,
buzz.
like, you were trying to, like, I was like coming to you. I was like, there's got to be a fucking way we're gonna get this kid, right? Like, I mean, after all this, and you're like, well, he could backdoor his way in, and with the grades, and I'm like, fuck,
Yeah,
bro. And
because then the rumor was there was grade issues and he wasn't going to enroll at
yeah,
Clemson and he would have to JUCO, and then it was like there's Florida's second chance at it. Well, then come like, and I should have if I would have read the tea leaves better. Like I kept hearing that in the class, like there were running backs that had interest in us and we had interest in them, but all of a sudden, like when it came close to their commitment, like we were just like ghosting them or just like nah, not actively pushing for them. And so then there was an outrage at Knox, at coach Greg Knox, of like, why are you not like getting a running back? Like why are you not fucking getting someone? There was like we're letting 4 stars go
yeah.
to
Who was the kid from
Miami and Florida
Texas?
State. Zachary Evans, and he went to Ole Miss or TCU. He ended up at TCU. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but like all
donuts.
these guys that we're like, why aren't we taking somebody? Like why? And then the next class comes around, like last. So this would have been last year, and or over the summer. We're like, why aren't we like going after some of these running backs? Like what is
Hmm.
the reason? And then all of a sudden one and everyone's like, they're only going to take one unless if they think it's like
The
an all
guy.
world type guy. And I was like, okay, like so we're never getting a running back ever again because we can't land those guys right now. And then I wake up early Saturday morning before a fucking game. What was who were we playing? It was a game in the swamp. Um, it was or was it our second game, or who would play week 2 after Ole Miss? It was I can't remember who it was, but it was a game. It was like a noon. It was like a noon game in the swamp on and we get a fucking post that Demarcus Bowman is transferring to University of Florida, confirmed, and just went
Unbelievable.
crazy. Like it was like
Unbelievable.
it happened. So now we got that guy, and
Yeah.
yeah, that
What's
was a
really funny?
rant.
I don't want to like start picking on the way people look and stuff, and especially not somebody that could probably beat my ass if they wanted to.
Definitely could.
But if you look at like the roster, Demarcus Bowman doesn't look like he would be a running back.
Yeah. Well, he's not big and scary. Yeah, but
It's
he's
really
small
like
too. I think. Well, how tall is he?
He's 5'10". He's like
Yeah,
a very compact person, but he almost has like like his face and his cheeks look. It looks like he would be like he could be if they didn't have the height on his uh, stat sheet. He looks like he could be like an offensive lineman
yeah, he's a
in
thick
his
boy.
face. Like he's got it's kind of funny compared to some of the
That was
undrafted
Doug
guys.
Dickey saying that, DeMarcus, not anyone else.
Come find me.
Um,
um,
so
but
so that's
yeah,
your freshman impact freshman on.
absolutely.
Are, okay, we'll just are we gonna do just one? I think we'll just do
Is there
one.
anybody
Yeah,
else?
just do the.
Like, there's nobody else that would be. I feel like maybe isn't the McMillian guy supposed to be pretty good,
Yeah, I think McMillan's gonna be
or
McMillan,
McMillan?
yeah, I forgot about him. Um, my impact freshman is going to be Jason Marshall, 5-star cornerback. He's like 6'2", 185 pounds from Miami. Um, those guys from Miami, those corner, like he's a physical, like he's the cornerback. Like there's some guys that are finesse guys that they're just like I think you could make the argument that like when I go back and look at um the rosters I think are like more a tactician type guys rather than just like physical corners. I think you see like Vernon Hargraves. He's a tactician type corner.
Mhm.
He would press you, but he wouldn't like he's not gonna just be stronger than you. And then you look at Jalen Tabor. I think Jalen Tabor was that
Yeah,
or Tease Tabor. He was that
Isn't
physical
he's a
that Dustin
physical.
Goldtrucks was the one
corner.
that said that?
No, that was Quincy Wilson. That was Quincy. Um, Quincy Wilson, he kind of had he was a little bit of both. Like he was very, um, you a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not
Balanced.
a tactician, but he was also physical. He can be physical at times. And I think Florida, the way the game has changed over years, you don't see the corners like the Joe Haydens that are like 5'10", 185 pounds, 170 pounds that are fast and can run with the best corners. You're starting to see the guys that 10 years ago would have been playing safety. Now those guys are playing corner because they're just as good. They're tall. Like in those guys, like there were never tall corners. Like they're never like rarely was there a corner over 6 foot 10 years ago. Like you just
Yeah, like you're
just
thinking
didn't
like Mel Blunt, but like that's way
those
back.
guys went and played receiver. They're like, oh, go play receiver. You're tall. You can catch the ball. That was always the thing. Like if you were a 6'3" receiver, 6'3" and fast, you played receiver, and it's just like, oh, you can just out jump, get higher than the corner because you're 6 inches taller than them. Well,
Yeah,
now you have corners that are 6'1", 6'2".
yeah.
You got
How do you guard Randy Moss? You gotta get a guy
yeah,
that's
yeah,
tall,
you got to get a guy that's just as athletic as him and tall as him to play with him. So,
faster than Randy Moss. Yeah,
and I
go ahead.
think I think that's one of the good things that like 7-on-7 has like embraced. Like everybody used to want to play offense. Like offense was the fun thing to do, but
Yeah.
defense is being a shutdown corner. That's and you think of like Richard Sherman and those like he was a big one of the first physical like
Darrell
big
Revis.
dudes. The
Darrell
big
Revis really was the first guys that I think of like back in the day that we grew up with.
Is he tall? No, I'm thinking of just like that stature of that guy.
Oh,
Like
stature.
the kids now playing defensive back grew up seeing like Richard Sherman was a
Hmm.
anomaly of a cornerback. Like you just didn't see that, and now like that's the standard of
Yeah,
corners now. Or like if you're under 6 foot, you better be fast as all fuck, or you're not going to play corner.
and you better be able to leap out of the building as well.
And I think it's weird too. Like the receiver position has actually gotten smaller. You used to there are some
Yeah,
big ones. Don't get me wrong, but like they used to say, oh, if you're under five, if you're under 6 foot, you better be fast as shit and be able to catch. Well, now you see
just
five
be
ten
able to run
guys.
a good route. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
you're
see
fine.
5'10" guys that they're not the fastest guy at all, but they run great routes and they don't drop anything. So.
I think Amari
Um,
Cooper's not that tall. How tall is Amari Cooper? Maybe 6'2",
I
maybe
know
6'1".
Devonta Smith isn't that tall. He's 5'9", I think.
Yeah, yeah, That's like, yeah, he's crazy
I
fast
think.
though. But yeah, you don't need to be AJ Green anymore to play receiver. But and you don't.
No, Devonta Smith's 6 foot. I'm sorry.
Okay, he was just undersized as far in terms of weight.
He was really skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still feel like he's gonna get fucked up in the NFL.
Trying to think of the other. Who's the other receiver that was on that team that got banged up?
Which one?
Um, for Bama. The one they
Oh
thought was
yeah,
better. He was
Waddle.
actually Waddle. Maybe it's Jalen Waddle that was small.
Waddle was fucking better than Freeman.
Jalen Waddle's 5'10".
Yeah,
5'10", yeah. And those heights are always, a little, he's probably 5'9". He's probably walking around 5'9".
yeah. Right. I'm 5'10".
Yeah. I'm 5'9" and a half. All right.
All right.
So,
Yeah, let's move on. Premier.
Doug,
What are you
did
asking
you
me?
have an impact freshman? Or was
I don't
McMillan
know
yours?
enough of the. That was the only name that I can remember
Yeah,
seeing
McMillan.
in the news.
I
McMillan's
think
a
the
good
safety
choice.
spot's wide open
Admittedly,
too.
been busy.
After Rashad Torrance and Trey Dean, it's kind of a wide open bet back there. So I
I
could
would have
definitely
said
see
that
him
poor
getting some
kid
playing
that
time. And
or was the kid that tore his ACL? He wasn't a freshman, was
Hill.
he?
Hill was a
no,
sophomore, I
no,
think.
no.
Feel bad for him. That sucks.
Yeah,
But he'll be
that
back
sucks.
All right.
better
All
than
right,
ever.
let's do
So
some over unders.
we're gonna go over under for some statistics on the season of what we think, just offensive and
Yeah,
defensive statistics. We've got some passing, some rushing, some sacks, turnovers, the whole shebang. All right,
yeah.
start them off.
Okay,
You wrote
so
them down,
we're
right,
gonna
champ?
start. We're gonna start offense. Yeah, I got them all. We got over under 3.5 players with 500 receiving yards. So let's think about like last year. I think it was probably Pitts was the leading receiver, and then Tony
Yep.
next.
No,
Tony
Tony
almost
was the
had a
leading.
thousand.
Tony, yeah, it went Tony Pitts and then Grimes, I believe.
Yeah, I
And I
forget about
think all three
Grimes.
of those. I think all three of those were over 500 yards, but I don't know if we had a fourth. I didn't. I think one of the running backs had to have over 500 yards.
I don't think so.
Hold
It would have
on.
been
Let me.
Davis receiving.
Hold on. I'm pulling it up again. I had it earlier. Um, Receiving yards. We had three players over 500 yards receiving, but we also had two of those were at like 980, and Pitts was at 770.
70. And then
So
there's big fall off to Grimes.
at almost 600. So
Grimes had
So
a
you're
monster year.
asking over, under?
Three and a
I th-
half players.
I would
let's
say
do.
under.
Do you want to do 2.5? Because I thought I said three, right? Didn't I say three?
We're gonna do
So
3.5.
okay, I'm gonna say
Yeah,
under.
under
Uh,
3.5.
under three and a
Actually,
half.
yeah, I'm gonna say under 3.5 on that,
With
just because.
500 receiving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but you
think
don't have you have
Who's
Tony. Tony had 984 yards.
yeah.
Well, I
I
guess
think I think
no,
shorter could.
under 3.5.
All right,
Under
let's
3.5.
let's think of the receivers that could get
Copeland
close.
is yes,
Copeland, shorter,
probably.
and then after that we have
Bingo.
you have Henderson. You also have my boy
Whittemore.
Whittemore, and you have
I don't see
Gamble and
it.
Zipper. But I think Gamble and Zipper are gonna split so much. Like I think they could both be at like 350. Like both of them have around 300 yards
I just don't
receiving.
see it. I don't think they're gonna throw the ball as much. You have to remember, like those yards are how many attempts?
I could
How
I could
are we
definitely see us having three. I could
making
definitely see
throwing the
us having
ball?
three, but no way do I see us having four.
It'd be
Especially if Copeland breaks out, has a breakout year, or one of those receivers breaks out and starts getting targets and racks up on the yards, it's going to take away from other guys. So
Yeah.
They were throwing the ball 36 times a game.
Last year.
Yeah. I
Hold on,
just
I'm gonna
don't
see in
think
2019
that
if we
that's
had
going to happen this year.
Okay, well, so who would be the
2019
third?
we had.
Who would be the third
Yeah,
receiver with?
no, we need to do
Yeah, let's do
three
two and a half.
on
Let's do
that.
two and a half.
Yeah, yeah, because in 2019 only three receivers had over 500 yards.
Okay.
So and one had 497. So that would have been that for maybe that season set it at 3.5 would have been
Yeah.
appropriate. But 2.5,
Correct.
2.5. I'm gonna say over. I think we'll have three guys with
Who's the third?
five. So Henderson, Copeland, and
Well, Copeland's
uh,
definitely, and Shorter definitely. We got to think that they're going
oh,
to have
and
over 500.
I
If they don't
think
have over 500 yards, then that's a failure of a year for those guys. We would think, right?
I think Henderson would be my bet because I think he'll have like two or three 70-yard catches on the year, and
Yeah.
right there you're almost halfway.
Right. You could almost think that, like, well, who knows how many
And you also got to remember
receivers
we have
the
some
backfield.
cupcakes this year.
Yeah, true. Yeah, a lot of yeah. It fucks everything up. Like I have a whole year of like COVID stats in my head that I am trying to measure against whatever. All right. So you think over 2.5 players are going to be uh, catching for over 500 yards, but what about rushing yards? 2.5 over under 500 rushing yards per game or 500 rushing yards on the season. Over under two and a
Uh,
half players.
hmm.
So it would be
I'm gonna go back to.
probably Pierce and Davis are going to be our two workhorses this year, I assume. But it's going to be so change of pace, and you
I
got
say
Emery
over.
too. You got Emery too.
I'm gonna say over on that as well. I think
Over.
over because I think Emory Jones. I'm looking back at the 2018
Especially
team,
it's
and that's the last team that was similar to what we're going to have this year. And Franks ran for 350 yards. I think Emery is going to run for close five, probably 600 or so yards.
Yeah, he
Um,
could easily do that.
because
And
Franks
then
didn't really start running the ball till like that South Carolina game. Like all before that,
he
he
sucked.
wasn't.
He sucked at running too. He wasn't good at
Um,
anything.
and Emery has the take it to the house ability. Franks
Yep.
doesn't have that.
No. Yeah. He. Yeah. So I think Emery for sure is going to be one, and then probably I would think that Pierce would be the the main back, right?
Yeah, Pearson. I think it's gonna be Pearson, right?
You
Um,
think right?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you just got so many guys back there. So if we don't get to, I mean, it's going to be probably one of those cumulative things like it has been in years past, where it's running back by committee, and we got a hell of a committee. So it's gonna be fun. I don't know if everybody's going to get to 500 or not, but it's gonna. I think the running game is going to be back in a big way this year, just based on you know the ability for the quarterback to be involved in it. Um, Okay. Well, then that being said, we got over under 225 rushing yards per game average. I think over under 225 rushing yards.
I'm going over just because I think we're gonna run the ball so much more
Yeah.
this year. Like, I think we'll be close to if we run like what's the average, like 70 plays a game. I think we're gonna run the ball 40, at least 40 times a
Yeah.
game.
You think it's gonna be real run heavy?
And I think if we average, I think we'll average like close to 5.5 yards a carry as a team this year. So I think, and I think it might be like we 70 plays or 75 plays, and it's like 42 to 30, 30 or 45 to 30 pass or rush to pass. Around about
Yeah.
that area.
Be
So
heavy.
yeah,
You
and
think
that's
you
not
think
even that.
it's you think it's
I
gonna be
think
run to set up the pass though,
yes, yeah.
which is different than what we've seen in the last few years, for sure.
Yeah, we passed short to set up the deep pass. Like that was our play action. Was throwing a baiting them into a a screen pass and then throwing it deep.
or slipping Naquan out
Mm-hmm.
and doing the wheel route. Yeah, it's going to be electric. I think I think the Russian game is gonna have a hell of a year, and yeah, I would agree. It'd be over 225 per game. I think it's going to be, you know, but I also think that the other over under we have is 225 through the air per game. I honestly, I mean, we had Kyle throwing for 404 touchdowns like on multiple weeks last year,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would think he went like several weeks in a row where he went 400 with 4 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, there
I think
was
I know he threw
there was
for like didn't he throw for close to 600 against Ole Miss?
I don't know. That was a crazy
Or
game.
it was
There's
like,
no defense.
but yes, um I, I think he was like at like averaging like 315 a game or something.
315. Kyle
Or
Trask was.
378. I'm sorry. That was the
Yeah. Okay.
or hold
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
So asking Emery to put up those type of numbers is pretty, unreasonable, honestly. But because he's going to be running so much, so 225 through the air, like as an average, I would say probably under, just because it's going to be so. I mean, probably not going to need to throw it that that much, but he's going to be able to take it off. I mean, we got playmakers all over the field. He can hit Copeland whenever, and Copeland could take it to the house.
I'm gonna take under as well. I just think we're both like I think we'll be closer to 200 yards per game than 225 passing.
Through the
I
air.
wouldn't be yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which still I think that's a great if we can average to like 250 rushing a game and like 205 passing. I'm perfectly fine with that. I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's a well balanced offense, and I think that's that running the ball successfully. When you need to run the ball, when you need to go out and get 2 yards, I would much rather I trust I would much rather run the ball to get 2 yards than to pass the ball to get 2 yards. Like it's
Yeah.
like on those fourth and ones to just like snap it to Emery and just say, "Hey, run as fast as you can and get that yard," or Anthony Richardson and just say, "Hey, go get a yard."
Pierce.
Versus fourth and one and say, "Hey, Trask, try to hopefully your first option is there because that's how fast you have to throw it on a fourth and one because they're going to blitz everybody."
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, what about on the defensive side of the ball? We have um, what are we going to do? 4.5 over under players with multiple interceptions.
under.
Or 3.5. I would say three. Start set at three
Three
and
and
a
a
half.
half. Yeah, we'll do.
Still
Okay.
under. There
You
was
think
like
under?
yeah, there was like one guy last year
Mm.
that had 2
No, we
interceptions.
had
They
two.
sucked.
We had two. Yeah, that was
How
last
many?
year.
How
So
many picks?
but
Yeah.
they but still like you're expecting them to have like 3 or 4 guys that have multiple picks. I just don't see that happening. I,
What are you going
I
with,
think they're
champ?
going I think they're going to improve, but they won't be that good, that much better.
Honestly, I think. Yeah, I think the what do we have? 6 picks last year, something like that. Is that really what it was? Six turnovers on the whole year,
No,
or was it
six
the margin?
interceptions. Six
Six
interceptions.
interceptions. That's piss poor. That makes no sense, especially for a Florida secondary. I mean, there's been games where we've had fucking 3 picks before, So yeah, six on the year. Are we sure?
Yes.
That's insane. Um, I think there's going to be multiple players with multiple
It was 9 total interceptions.
9 total interceptions.
We had 9 interceptions. I'm sorry.
That's
But
still nothing. I mean, the turnover margin probably, even though Trask was so good with the ball, our turnover margin was probably dog shit. So I think
Only Elam and Davis had multiple interceptions last
Elam
year.
and Davis.
I am going to go over. I think Elam will have at least two. I think the opposite corner will have at least two because of just the pure amount of targets that they will get.
Marshall,
Because
you figure?
yeah, Marshall, I wouldn't be surprised if Marshall got a couple. And historically, our younger guys usually have gotten more interceptions because they're targeted more. And I think our safety play is going to be better. I think our star play is going to be better.
Yep.
Um, I think if a safety plays all year,
We had no
they're
pass rush last year, also, so
yes,
that
yeah.
that sucked.
I think when you have a safety that if they play every game all the whole season, they and start play the majority of the snaps, you got to try really hard to not get two interceptions. It seems because you're gonna at least on the year you're gonna get one arm punt. Like it's gonna you're gonna get you're gonna get one.
You're gonna get one of the
Um,
Chris Rexes.
yeah, yeah. So Jeff Driscoll's just gonna lob one up there for you.
Yeah.
And then uh, you're gonna get another. Um, I think you're gonna have one of the young guys get it and Elam. So there's my three.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think it could go over. I think that the secondary is like people are sleeping on the secondary this year, partially because they were terrible last year. But I think there's a lot of upside with this crew, and um, yeah, especially Black at star. That's a really it's going to be fun to see him back there. And with all those rangy linebackers that we have, they could very well end up with multiple interceptions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Diabate very well could easily do that. Other over under is 40 team sacks for the year. I don't know how many we had last year. We had no pass rush.
I think we had like 32. I think is what I counted. I
30,
could have.
35. I just
35.
don't see.
Well, we have
I'm going to
more
say under because
games.
I don't see. Well, I'll say over
And
because we played three
we have
games
more
and
games,
aren't
and
worth a shit.
we're gonna play USF, FAU, and FSU, who
And there's probably going to
we could
be
get close
12
we could
sacks
get
in
close
there.
to 20. We could get close to 20 in those games.
Yeah.
Like, and remember
Yeah.
19, we had like 11 sacks against Miami in that game or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fun. It's fun
I
when
think something
bad
like that
quarterbacks.
would happen against Florida State. But yeah, I think we'll probably have 15 in those three games, and then we have a Vanderbilt in there that sucks. We have
Hmm.
um,
Tennessee will.
a yeah, Tennessee. Oh,
Whoever.
something. I was telling
They'll trot
Champ
some.
this. I was like, they trot some tall, lanky motherfucker out there, like he's 6'6", 200 pounds, and it's his first start. Every time they come to the swamp, they're like,
Yeah.
hey, let's make this guy's first start in the swamp. That's a perfect
Yeah.
idea. And then
Draw my fire.
they trot him out there, and it never fails. It's like a third and like 8, and he drops back, has no sense of feel for his for the backside
It's
for
the
the
loudest stadium in the
it,
country.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
snaps the ball. And they snap the ball half a second before the play clock expires. So the end has that jump. They're like, all right, they either snap it now or they get a delay a game, and they run and they
Yeah.
blow by the left tackle, and he's sitting there waiting. First guy's not open, and he looks, and then he's like mid throw opens the ribs just up,
Yeah.
they're open, and then just speared right in the back. Ball flies 15 yards in the air, and then
Yeah.
the crowd goes nuts, and
Uh,
we get the ball at the 5 yard line and settle for a field goal 9 times out of 10. That's
yeah.
how that usually works.
Yeah.
But I feel like that has happened at every Tennessee game I've been to. It's just like a quarterback from the blind side just gets obliterated,
Yep.
and we win the game. So
Yeah.
there's
They'll trot several. I think is Guantanamo Bay still there?
no, that's another guy that's been in college football for 8 years.
Yeah. Guantanamo.
Guantanamo. I forgot I called him that last year. Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, I think he's actually gone, which is a bummer. There's going to be some guys that were so bad that we're just going to be sad to see him leave.
Who's their coach now?
Josh Heupel.
Oh
Oh, they
yeah,
that's right.
the fat white guy.
They poached the guy. They poached their AD from UCF, and then they poached the coach
Yeah,
from
then
UCF.
he was like, I'm gonna hire the best available, and then just hires his
The
coach.
one guy. Yeah. Well, that's we did the exact same thing. To be fair,
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, yeah,
it's
true.
working
Well,
a little bit
not as
faster.
fast. Strickland had been there
Within,
for a year.
yeah, he was there for a little bit before he
Yeah.
decided that he went.
Like this guy was on the job. Like his plane hadn't landed when he like in
Yeah.
Knoxville, and he had already
We're gonna
hired his.
start the search.
You know they're giving away free. If you buy a student ticket, they give you a student ticket. I guess because nobody wants to go to their fucking games.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Bring it, buddy. Hey, next year we're gonna be at that game. That's gonna be the road trip for the Workham Silly Boys. We're going to Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville. That's gonna be the road trip next
No,
year.
they're in Knoxville this year.
No, they're not.
No, it's Gainesville.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, they are. That's right. But they were in Gainesville last year, weren't they?
No,
no,
it's Knoxville.
that was
Oh
Kentucky.
man, dude,
Yeah, it's fucked up because we always play them in September, and last year we played them like in November or some shit.
I don't even remember
Yes,
playing
Remember John
Tennessee
Jones was on
last
the
year.
podcast.
we played them when all the boys were in town because we watched it here. We watched that one at my house.
No, that was
It
Kentucky.
was no, that was at your that
was
was at
Kentucky.
your house. Oh yeah, you're right because that was Vanderbilt. We watched it when we went to your house the weekend
Yeah,
before. That was Vandy. That's right.
dude. I don't remember
That's
playing
right.
Tennessee last year. That
I
didn't
think
happen.
it might have been in December. Was it the last? It was. It or no, it wasn't December. That was the game we don't talk about. Fuck.
Yeah.
Weren't there
What?
multiple games in? Weren't there multiple games in December?
No, there was only one that we don't talk about.
No, it was
No,
2nd of
no. There were
December playing Tennessee.
fifth. Yep.
I don't remember that game at all.
It was sloppy. It was a
Well,
sloppy game.
let me recap it for you. I don't remember it either, but I can tell you that Tennessee looked like dog shit. They've turned it over several times. Oh wait, was that the one where the guy caught it in the end zone, or he caught it like on the 5 and then rolled it into the end zone?
No, that
No,
was
that
two
Or
was
was
years
that a
ago.
couple years ago?
18. That was 18.
They just do that shit all the time.
It was an interception that he was returning for a touchdown, and he like fumbled it out of the end
Oh
zone
my god, dude, it's
as
so
he
funny. It's
tripped
like
into it.
a Bill Dance blooper reel every time we play Tennessee. It's fucking gold. It's so they do it to themselves. They do it to themselves. I can't wait to play them again this year. Um, where the fuck are we in this podcast? Let's get back on to
Yeah, we went on a big old tangent. Over
yeah,
under
Tennessee.
stats, sacks, and now and
Yeah, sacks. We're gonna get a million sacks. We're gonna fuck everybody up. It's gonna be
We
fucking
have all the
awesome.
sacks.
Yeah, we're gonna
yeah,
Lots of
we're gonna
big
sacks.
sacks.
yeah big sacks this year, like fucking Bill Clinton. Both types, saxophone and
Goldman Sachs.
yeah. Okay, well,
Was that all
let's.
the over unders?
I think that's all the over unders, unless you got another one.
No.
We only do overs on this podcast. That kind of brings us into our week 0 slate.
You know what the great thing about a new season is?
What is the great thing about a new season?
We're all 0-0 right now. We're all even. So
Even
it is a
Steven.
perfect chance to have a redemption tour. Last year, if you listen to the pod, which I don't think there were many of you,
Yeah.
but
Shout out.
if you listen to the pod, you knew my picks were ass. Were like the definition of ass.
Did I tell you? I don't know if I told you this, Blake, but our uh, Dr. Lou, the head of my
Yeah.
football pool.
Yeah, no, you told me you were like the
Yep. So he
worst.
seeded us based on our performance over the last 5 years, and the past 5 years are the years that I've come to you, my brilliant football friend, the most brilliant football mind in my Rolodex, and I come to you for advice and fellowship. and dead last, not even close. We were the fucking worst in the whole group, and this is including moms. There's moms in here that literally don't even they don't know what to root for. They're out there same as my mom, just rooting for like the
The
crowd to
prettiest
cheer.
colors. They're picking on the prettiest colored uniform
Exactly,
on
and they did
the wing.
better than us. Yep. So we suck.
Or the
But
cutest mascot. Like,
yeah, and
ooh,
honestly,
a bronco. That sounds cool. Let's pick the Broncos.
yeah, and
Ooh, a
honestly,
cougar. I'm a cougar. Let me pick the Cougars.
yeah, that's fun. Yeah, that kind of shit. That has been way better than us these past 5 years. But you know what? That's why you tune in. That's why you come to us for the worst picks possible. All right, Doug. Why don't you take us through
Oh, you sent
our
it to me.
slate? Yeah, I did.
Oh God, your
That
handwriting. I forgot how bad it
is,
is.
um,
That is
man.
correct.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if I should fade myself truly again because I
Finna
didn't
get
stick
faded.
with that.
Surprise
I didn't
everybody.
stick with that, and I think I have to.
You, you're no. There's no more fading. Like fresh slate.
Yeah,
Fresh slate.
I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah. No. No.
Yeah,
This year,
yeah,
we're checking the pro box. You know, we're
yes.
not. We're done with this amateur bullshit. All right.
I'm giving you all free money. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing. I'm giving you winners.
Yep. Big
I'm
A
guaranteeing
analyst.
I am guaranteeing a 65% hit rate this year.
That's it.
Actually, a- that's
68.
it. No, 65.
69%, dude.
Nice. Yeah. 69%
um,
guaranteed hit rate
do you realize
from
how like that sounds like a low number, but on the
it's a
I
flip
lot.
side,
actually, you're guaranteeing that. I want to keep stats of that this year and see how it goes.
um,
Please do.
the flip, but I'm only picking games I feel confident in. I'm not picking the whole slate. Like, so I'll
You're gonna
help.
do
You have
more
to pick the
locks.
whole
I
slate.
will help or Champ do his pool picks, but those aren't going to be my picks. That's last year. I had to pick every game in there, and there were a lot of games I said I would never have touched. They're
Yeah, yeah.
You
shitty.
have
I
to.
didn't,
You have to pick them. That's the
but
rules.
pick a minimum of 8 games a week. I will do that. I will pick a
Yeah,
minimum
well,
of 8 games a week.
yeah.
You're
That's
you're
gambling.
stacking the deck for yourself.
No,
You're changing the rules of engagement to make yourself look
no,
better.
because
Let's
if
go
I if
9. Let's go 9 so you
no, no,
can
no, no,
tie.
no, 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 no. Because if I had my money, like my real money, like all my picks I gave, I didn't always bet on those games because I
What about
wasn't
7?
confident in those. I would do 7. I would do 7 every week, regardless of like
No pushes.
I have to pick 7.
7 no
Um,
push. All
I
half
can't
half
control a
points.
push.
All right, fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
mean,
I'll take a push.
if the bookie pushes me, then it's a push.
Push comes to shove.
Like it's like if I push, I went 3-3-1 on that week. That's the way it fucking goes. Way she
That's
goes.
the way she goes.
So I will do
Yeah,
7. I will do 7 picks a week.
not including week 0. This is
Yeah, not including
merely
week
the
0.
this is the
These count.
preseason. These count?
I I made
Yeah,
the rules. These count.
fucking count them.
Doug
Count them. I'll pick them.
Doug
Count them.
talked.
I don't
They
care.
count.
Yeah.
I
All
can't
right.
wait until you're 0-3 after this week.
But what I will say, I'm not going to guarantee 69% because that means I'm only wrong 31% of the time. And if I was right that much of the time, um, a casino would probably come kill me because I was taking so much money from them.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah.
so
It's been talked about.
Are you saying
I,
if you were right that often, you
I
wouldn't
will
have
be
student loan
right
debt?
more than 60% of the time. 60 over under 60% on the season.
Yeah.
Over. Because
No,
technically, in gambling, anything over 50% is good.
Yeah,
That
do you know how far under 50% we've been in the past 5 years?
yes,
We've been outside of I don't know if you're familiar with standard deviations, but forget it, dude. We're way out of it. We're in like the Michael Jordan of being bad league.
law of averages. We have to come back to
You're absolutely
average.
right.
have to come back to 0.
You're
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely right. I hadn't thought of it like that, but
I don't think that's going to happen. But
it's a
whatever you
bounce
guys
back
had to tell
year.
you to sleep yourself to
positive
sleep at
vibes
night.
only. Positive vibes only.
That's
We don't
true.
need this negativity.
The first game that you're inevitably going to pick wrong is Nebraska at Illinois. Nebraska uh, giving 7, and the over under is 55. So go ahead, first champ.
All right, Nebraska giving 7 to the Zook. I mean, both of these teams are so 2006 in my head. You know, I mean, I'm thinking this is Bo Pelini versus Ron Zook.
Dude,
And Juice
Scott Frost is a
Williams.
great
Juice
coach.
Williams
Yeah,
at quarterback.
yeah, exactly. But it's I think is Love. No, wait, Lovie Smith's not even coached
No,
anymore. Is he?
Bert. They got old Bert Bielema.
Bert Bielema.
Brett, but I call he's a Bert.
He's a Bert. He's definitely a Bert. Bert Bielema at Illinois.
Yeah, back in the Big Ten. We got Bert Ball
Whoa.
back.
Yeah. Bird ball, bird ball versus hurt ball though. That's been Nebraska's offense. Jesus fucking Christ! I feel like we've been waiting for Nebraska to do anything for so long. They Scott Frost was apparently the answer, but I mean, we were supposed to get him, so I'm kind of glad that we didn't. It
Dodged a
seems
bullet.
more and more every year that I mean we're playing one of the guys from that coaching search game one, right? Isn't Willie Taggart at FAU now?
God, I remember saying, "Man, we're gonna have to hire Willie Taggart now." When I
Yeah,
thought we weren't gonna get Dan Mullen, I was like, "Oh
yeah.
God."
Shit. No, it was Chip Kelly was the guy we wanted.
No, it was we were all in on Chip Kelly, and then it went to Scott Frost, and Scott Frost said, "Nah, I'm going to Nebraska." And then I was like, "There's no way Dan Mullen's going to leave because he had his best team ever coming back at Mississippi
Yeah,
State that next year." I was like, "He's not going to leave that team. Like he thinks he could run up, possibly beat Bama with that squad." And I was like, "Well, fuck, I guess we'll get Willie Taggart." And thank God that didn't happen.
yep.
Go
He will
Knowles.
be in the swamp week one.
He
Um,
never got to come to the swamp while he was at Florida State. What a shame.
that is kind of sad. I would have. I yearn for the Willie Taggart era to continue. Who's their coach now? Nolan. Anyway,
Norvell.
Nebraska. Scott Frost seems that he cannot coach an offense. I honestly hate the point spread in this because it's week 0. It's Big Ten. I think I'm taking Big Ten. That's my main thing. I'm going under 55.
There's no way they're going to score 55 points.
Under 55. What a fun under to root for. They're not going to score any fucking points all game. It's going to be so fun. They got Martinez still at Nebraska as their quarterback. Can't throw the ball. Is the
Yeah,
fast guy.
Adrian Martinez. Yeah.
Fast guy can't throw. Yep. It's not going to work. Under.
How do you feel, Mac?
I'm back on my bullshit.
That's a big grin, yeah.
Over 55, baby.
Oh,
That's
shit.
it. That's the pick.
Over?
Over
Dude,
55.
they're not going to
There's
score that
no
many.
way.
Dude, how do you see
I
that
think
going?
I think Nebraska could run them out of the building. I
You think
really
they're
do.
going to ball?
I'm gonna double on this one. I'm gonna say Nebraska -7. Illinois is not good. And over 55. I think Nebraska can score like 30, 35 points, and I think
And you think Burt
I
Ball can
think
put up 20?
I think they can. Nebraska's defense isn't that good, so
Burt Ball.
I think Burt Ball can put up 20 plus on Nebraska.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
So I'm going to double down. I'm either going to be 0-2 or 2-0 on this one. I'm not going to like Illinois is either going to win and it's going to be 10-7, or Nebraska's going to win and it's going to be 45 to 20.
This is one of the most ambiguous like week ones just coming out. I mean, who the fuck knows what's going to happen this year? It's going to be super.
I do
fun.
know my pick for the next one.
Is it? Am I reading this correctly? This is UConn at Fresno State.
Yep.
Yes.
Is that correct? And Fresno State is giving 27 points. The over/under is 63.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
and
Matt,
I'm going to go
go ahead
first
with
on
your
this one.
pick.
Yeah.
Yep. Please.
Hammer Fresno -27. Take it to the bank. Bulldogs. a bull.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'll
Yeah.
debunk that in a minute. Um,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
UConn hasn't played a game in almost in 20
UConn's
months.
yes, but
UConn
their
hasn't played.
mascot is dead.
I knew that's what you're gonna say.
He's dead.
You know when he died, how old that dog was? The dog was
How
15 years old. The dog was gonna die. Like what was gonna? What do you? It
all
wasn't like
dogs go to heaven, bro.
but it wasn't a tragic death. It wasn't like he was a 4-year-old and it's like, oh my gosh, one day he wasn't there. It was a 15-year-old dog. Like
Now they
it's
have a
not.
puppy.
If
It's
they cared that much, they would have fucking played last year. They didn't. They don't
dude.
give a flying fuck about him.
Tuffy too. Was he? He was old, wasn't he?
They don't give a shit about Tuffy. They're not. This isn't or whatever Huffy, whatever his name is.
Tuffy.
R.I.P. in peace. Like for sure. I love dogs. All dogs do go to heaven. But
Yes.
UConn doesn't cover against Fresno State and when they haven't played a meaningful football game in less than since November 30th of 2019.
Oh my god.
Do the math. 21 months. It'll on what is Saturday? Okay, 2 days shy of 21 months exactly since they have played a meaningful game of football.
Yeah.
I don't. You could practice. They could have practiced for 100.
I don't think they did.
No, but I'm saying they could have. They could have practiced that long straight through, and I don't care if you're not playing competitive football. It does not matter one fucking bit.
Yeah. Who do you like in a game post plane crash Marshall or this year's UConn? Neutral site.
Well, seeing as Marshall only had like 4 players alive after that, I would have to go with UConn.
But they had Matthew McConaughey as their coach.
Yeah, you're discounting that. And UConn also mascot died.
So I take it you're taking UConn plus 27?
No, I'm actually taking the under. 63
Oh, we only bet overs on this podcast.
Yeah, well, I took the under in the above. Well, no,
63 points is a lot.
63 is too many.
Especially
I think UConn will score 0
win by 27.
Yeah, I think that UConn will probably score 0 points in this game.
You know what this game is going to remind me of? Wasn't it Navy that just got their shit kicked in for like the first
No, dude, they flip flopped. They fucked us. So if you recall last year, they played their first game and they didn't play at fucking all, and then they played I think it was
Houston or something.
It was Oklahoma State. And they came alive in the second half versus Oak State or something like that. But that's kind of what we were looking at for Navy last year. But UConn this year, I think UConn could literally score 0 points. I don't think Fresno can put up enough to cover the 63.
I'm trying to see how it was fucking BYU beat the brakes off of them.
BYU Navy?
Yeah, 55-3.
Yeah, bloodbath. BYU was good last year.
Oh, yeah. Navy sucked. Okay. All right. Moving on.
3 games.
Moving on.
All right. Last game for this week 0 that matters but doesn't matter is the Wacky Whack of Hawaii.
Yeah, the whack.
At UCLA. UCLA giving 17. Over under is 68.5.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. And I think Doug will love this one. I'm going over because the final score to this one is going to total exactly 69 points. Yeah, nice. If anything has ever stood out and a sign of you have to take it I would be dumb to say under 68.5 because if I said that, then the final score is going to be like
69.
41-28. And I'm going to be like, you motherfucker.
Right? Yeah, you got
Like,
to
and
hammer the over here. And it's a fun over to root for. You got Chip Kelly at night versus the Rainbows. It's gonna be a scoring
God, I
fest.
wish this game was at 1 a.m. I really do. And too bad
Yeah,
it's not.
yeah, yeah. I feel like it is pretty late though, right? It's probably that's a eight p.m. game, right?
I don't think there's many late games this
Bro, I
weekend. I think
can't
there.
wait. We have a fucking
No,
game
it's at
this week.
3. It's at 3:30 on ESPN.
I mean, hmm,
Hold on, I'm looking at week.
So
I'm looking at.
that's 12:30 UCLA time.
oh, okay.
Your latest game is Southern Utah at San Jose State.
Oh yeah, it's Southern Utah. I got them. They're big this year.
And then UTEP and New
Ooh,
Mexico State.
next week, opening week, we got Utah State, Washington State, 11 p.m. That's a
That's the opening game of week one.
no. There's just a Saturday night game. I'm looking at the time for them, and it's then there's a yeah,
Yeah,
that's
what time's Nebraska?
one.
So we don't even have a primetime game, or is Fresno the primetime game?
No, there's not a primetime
No,
game this
that's
week.
two. There's no prime time. UTEP and at New Mexico State is 9:30, but it's not
UTEP.
even televised on national television.
Yeah, no. Could pop down to San Antonio and check it out. Yeah,
God, I love those late ass games, man. Like you get home, that's perfect.
yeah,
You get home from the game, and it's like the second quarter is just starting, and then you fall asleep on the couch like from the game day,
yeah.
and you turn, and then you wake up, and it's like you fell asleep at halftime, and it's like
Oregon.
31-10 or Oregon State and Washington
Arizona.
State or Arizona, and then you wake up and it's 45-45 with a minute left in the game, and you're like second wind, you're all in on it.
Yeah.
It's 2 a.m. You're like, all right, and then it
And
goes
by,
to
by all in, by all in, you're just like, oh,
No, what
oh.
happens to me is then I wake up and I'm like, okay, and I watch it, and then I flip back to it's 2:30 now. I flip back to ESPN and I watch the
Highlights.
game day highlights like 3 times through, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta like go to bed
Yeah, yeah.
now.
You
Like,
get through it 3 times, and you're like, oh, this is not a loop.
yeah,
I can just catch this again in 4 hours.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is I'm
So I got
69. Yeah,
I got two
over.
unders and an over. I'm gonna pick a spread though. I'm gonna go Hawaii covering 17.
Okay.
So that's four picks. I got two unders and over, and I got Hawaii. What a
Hawaii's going to
card!
win the game.
What a card!
Electric week 0.
Yeah, I
of
can't wait.
football.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, it's more than week 0 though. It's like we're on the doorstep of the whole fucking season. I can't wait for. I mean, we're gonna have like real football to talk about. It feels like it's been forever, you know, and it feels. I like where we're at. We're kind of we're off the radar as far as Florida goes for this season, and it feels like we could really have a special year, especially with some of the talent we got. You got any final words for us, boys?
I'm excited. Should be fun on the ground here
Yeah,
in
football's
Gainesville.
back, baby. Yeah,
Fucking
we have
hope,
boots
bro.
on the ground.
Yeah.
Keeping my ear to the ground.
Dude,
That'll be
I'm excited to,
hearing
like I
up.
said, get back, smell like when you pull up on game day, like the atmosphere in the air of just like I'm gonna get on a soapbox for a minute with all the negativity in the world to then just get out and like you see someone in orange and blue, you don't give a flying fuck whatever else they think. They could, you're just like,
That guy's fucked
go
up too.
Gators.
Yep.
Yeah, go
We're
Gators.
both
And
we're both drunk on this day together.
yep. And I need that back in my life. We missed a year of it, and I'm excited to get back out there, and enjoy the atmosphere and watch Gator football and
Yeah,
uh, just take it all in. That's what we got to do,
I can't
and
fucking wait, dude.
we need it. We and we as I mean everybody, listeners, fans of all teams, you deserve it. Like you deserve this
Yeah,
season. You deserve the fun that you're about to have. You deserve the tailgates. You deserve every beer that you're going to drink on game day, every rib you're going to eat on game day, every uh, whatever the hell you do on game day, and whatever you do in the week that makes your week. You deserve it. You have made it this far. You need this in your life. We need this in our life. And yeah, just glad to be back.
the wait's over. Let's get it, boys. Go Gators.
Go
Go
Gators.
Gators.